call me what you want, open invitation. I'm a human being infused with creative vibration, utilizing melodies and visual stimulation. Beats and stories get the glory, you get the relation. I get impatient like a doctor racing. Bullets coming from my soul, my body just a casing.
What is up, fam? Welcome to another episode of the Paralyzed Artist Podcast. My name's Daniel Brian Alvarez, and today I have one of the funniest dudes that I've met so far in the comedy scene. That I'm down to take advice from, and fucking is just like been a dope, helpful ass motherfucker in the game for me. Welcome everybody, Shaman, Johal. Why you crying, bro?
I'm crying, man. That was such a good intro. That was so
hell yeah, bro. Nah,
I didn't expect all that. Oh my god.
Nah, like if you didn't know, yeah, bro, you're one of the dudes that I'm like, all right, this motherfucker's funny.
Man.
He's been in the game for a little bit, so he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Man. So I fucking listen when we have our little conversations outside. Yeah.
Man. He means that shit. He gave me fucking socks.
Hey, hell yeah, bro.
This is a big deal. He gave me socks and Fiji water. You don't fucking... I've gotten one of these in my life, but not two at the same time. This is fucking amazing.
Bro, I've clothed you now.
Yeah, you clothed me, man. You gave me some Christmas hand-me-downs, and I appreciate it. I'm wearing my champion gear, too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, perfect.
It works out perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not sponsored, not affiliated, open to if you need a sponsor.
I'm picky with my socks, so I was just like...
Mr. Picky Socks. I'm a champion. It's simple. Keep it simple. And Fiji water, delicious.
We're gonna get to know you a little better today.
Oh shit!
Bro. Yeah, because we've chopped it up, but I don't know, like.
Yeah, you don't know. Sometimes you don't know shit, right?
How does your story begin? Like, where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Oh God, I'm from a small ass town in the middle of California. I'm from Livingston, California.
Livingston,
tiny little town. Population like 7,000 when I was the first time I checked. I was like, what's the size of my town? Because sometimes you don't know. Bro, you don't know numbers, right? You're like 7,000. You're like, that's a lot of people. But, you know, $20 is a lot when you're like 9 years old. You're like, fuck, $20? Wow. So you don't know numbers. And then you go out to other places and you're like, well, you guys have millions? You come to Los Angeles and you're like, millions of people? You're like, I don't even know what that looks like, you know?
Yeah, that's a whole different life from growing up from a big city.
Yeah, and then like where I'm from is weird. It's a weird place because I'm from California, and everyone's like, "Oh, you fucking like." I remember talking to people like when I went to Canada, or you leave, you go outside of your area, and people are like, "Oh, you're from Cali. Oh, you must surf every day." Like I remember I went to Canada, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're from Cali, eh? Oh, you must surf like every day, oh." Yeah, like I was like, no, that like the beach is 2.5 hours away from me. You know what I mean? Like I'm right in the middle. I'm in the Republican part of California. So I'm in the red part of a blue state. Yeah. Right. And it's like, it's all farmland. It's flat. You know, it's farm. It gets cold. It gets to like 30s and things freeze. And then in the summer it's hot as hell. It's like 110. And then everyone around you is you feel like you're in Texas because it's like rednecks and Mexicans. That's all you have, like ranchero Mexicans and your rednecks.
It's like the norteño Mexicans.
Yeah.
So where does that land, like in comparison to like San Francisco, Sacramento? Like, is it?
Okay, so if you know California, everyone calls it like the armpit of California or the ass crack of California. They make fun of it and shit because it smells like shit. But that's because, you know, that's fertilizer for your food. You're welcome.
It's like the farmlands.
Yeah, it's farmland.
California.
Most of California is farmland. People forget that. You think of North, you know, Humboldt and shit. What is that? That's weed, bro. Yeah, that's where they grow all the weed. It's the best place for weed.
It's Humboldt County.
Humboldt County, yeah. So that's the northern part, and that's all mountainous and redwoods and green. And then we're in the valley, real valley, like because people say the valley out here in LA, and like that's a crack. That's not a valley.
Yeah. That's just like the beginning.
Yeah. That's a little ramp. It's a little bump. You know, like where you like if you ever go up the Grapevine and then you come down, you see it. You see like this giant bathtub bowl, and that's like. And if you look at California, just imagine a bathtub in the middle of that. Like just takes up most of it. That's the valley. Yeah, you know what I mean. And all that area is all like farmland. So. Bakersfield, Fresno. People hate on that. Like, oh, ass crack. Like, Fresno was a big deal to me growing up.
Really? That was like your big city and shit?
Fresno was fun. Fresno's like, yo, Fresno has water slides and a Hooters. Like, Fresno's got it going on, bro. Like, we're going to Fresno? Like, yo.
Nah, I have family in Bakersfield,
Mhm.
but every time I'm out there, like I don't know, like it feels dangerous to me. Like I feel like I'm in danger because they don't like Southern California, like LA foods out there, right?
Yeah, they
So
do
like
and
when
they
I'm
don't.
driving, I'm like I'm gonna get shot out here, bro. Like
Again.
Again.
I'm gonna get double tapped.
nah, yeah, I don't know. I always have like this little weird feeling when I'm there. Like I need to be careful out here.
Yeah, I guess I grew up that way, so it's the same way out here. Like when I come out here, I'm like, all right, be on your P's and Q's, just kind of like.
So how far is that from Fresno then?
So
Like, if
Fresno is like
was
an hour south.
Oh, okay.
Like where I'm from is like right in the middle.
So
like,
you're kind of in
like
between.
if I always say like, yo, if you looked at California like a body and you try to shoot it in the chest, that's where I'm
that's
at.
where you're from.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
right
I'm
in
like
the center.
aim right for
Yeah,
the center. That's where I'm from.
Literally in
middle.
the fucking-
So like when people are, where you from, like middle, because I have to say Livingston, California, they're not gonna know what that is.
Damn. So your school's probably small. Didn't have a lot
Tiny.
of it.
Yeah. LHS, baby, Livingston. What's up, Wolves? When I went, class of 2005, was fucking Wolf gangsters. Yeah, man. It was it was a small town. You know what's crazy? It was a small town, but then around it was smaller towns. So there was like Cressy and Belico, and they had like 300 people, 400 people.
God.
Yeah, like nothing.
Yeah, that's a
Dude, I
that's a real
remember
small town.
I used to get on the bus and like I was like one of the first people to get picked up. So I get picked up at 6 a.m. and then they would go all through these little towns and these little, you go dirt roads, and I mean it's foggy in the morning. You just like they had, I don't know if you remember, the buses used to have that little ping, ping, like just to let people know that there's a bus coming in the fog.
Yeah.
Like you'd had that, and I'd be sitting there like waiting for that little ping. I was like, oh, there's my bus. You know what I mean? Like get picked up, there'd be like me and maybe one other dude, and he's like he's sleeping in the corner, and then for 2 hours we're going around.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I know, it's brutal. Like 2 hours away? San Francisco's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Like if we took a 2-hour trip, we'd be in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like I did a 2-hour trip just around just to go to school.
And that was every fucking day of the
That was
week?
every day. That was like my freshman year. I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
and you would pick up these just random kids that like were way the fuck out there in the boonies. Like it was it's a totally different life, man. Rednecks, guns, boring. You had to be independent. Like you make your own shit. You come up with your own, you make a ramp and fuck up your bike. You go up there and just beat up your dog for an hour. You know what I mean?
I miss that shit, man. I miss all, like that fucking being a kid and ramps, hitting the ramps.
Because you just like there was like here, like when you come to a big city, what I realized, like coming to a big city is like there's just more shit going on.
Yeah.
So you can go like kind of ride your bike or like go and like get into some trouble, like fucking look around and fuck up. There's just things to do. Like just out here, just go to fucking Popeyes or whatever. Like for us, like a Popeyes, like one, like we never, like I remember our town, like maybe 10 years back, like when I was in high school, we got a McDonald's. And we lost our mind. We're like, we're official. We're a town. We made it.
We got motherfucking McDonald's.
Dude, we got a McDonald's and Starbucks. It was over. Right? We got cocky.
That's funny. That's crazy. Like I was born and raised here in LA, and then I take that aspect of it for granted. That like I was around a bunch of cultures, and I fucking grew up in the wildness. Like I don't know, man. I don't know how I'd probably be like the fucking kid that stands out in your town and shit. Like in a small town.
I remember because we had little cholitos like when I was growing up. Little cholito, hey, what's up, fool? What's up, fool? Like I was around that shit all the time, man. Like that, and that was like I mean, it was good because there was some. It was weird, right? Because it was like my town was like Brown Town. It was like
Brown
Town. That's what I called it. I was like, it's a brown because everybody was brown. It's like half the people are Mexican and the other half are Indian. From India.
Oh, literally, like I thought you were talking about like Latinos.
No. It was like brown on brown. You know what I mean? It was brown and hairier brown.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Hairier brown.
It was brown pride. You're like, which one are you talking about? We don't know.
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, which one? Okay,
or?
I like brown pride. I'm brown. But yeah, dude, it was You had, and then in the mix it was weird. You had like white people, but there were Portuguese, pork and cheese, Portuguese black white people. So, and they were like everybody was farmers, so they were dairy farmers. And then you had a sprinkling of like some Japanese farmers that like were in the area, kind of. So it was like a weird mix of people there, but it was like mostly brown, which was funny. And like I'm mixed, right? My mom's from Nicaragua, my dad's from India, so which is that I'm just fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
Like
that's an interesting a mix of cultures. Bro.
Yeah.
Like, I recently had Joe on, and he's an interesting. I was like, that's a California thing, bro. Like
Yeah.
that when two cultures come up like that.
Yeah, well, that's the few. I mean, people are gonna mix, dude. That's just like it's a melting pot, dude. We're gonna be like Brazil, you know. If you look at like Brazilians, they all look weird and different, you know. Like sometimes you look at a Brazilian, you're like, you don't know, you know. It's not till they start talking,
And then they speak Portuguese.
yeah,
too.
they speak Portuguese.
So it's like, it catches you where you from? Nah,
Yeah.
like, you're like,
Where are you from? I'm Portuguese from Brazil.
and like when did you or your family make the move down to like LA or?
Oh, like I made the move.
Oh, it was
I
just
just
you?
decided. I was like, I'm weird for my small town. Like I'm weird. And then I came out here. I was like, I'm normal as fuck. I'm so normal. I'm so basic. Look at me in my champion. Like I'm so basic. Jeans and a hoodie. You know what I mean? Like where I'm from, I'm a little artistic. I thought a little differently, and I knew what a muskrat was. And you know, I was just different. I was a little. I was the smart kid. Or I was the dumb kid in the smart class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was too smart for like the normal kids, but I just thought, you know, just like, yeah, I'm not a retard because like most kids are like whatever, and I was just like, yeah, ABC 1 2 3, I got this. You know? You're like, man, this guy's a fucking goody two shoes smart. I'm just like, dude, it takes like 10 minutes, like it's not that hard, and it's you know, and then they put me in the advanced class, and those kids were like, hey, I'm gonna go to Harvard, and like their parents had like their shit set up for them, and I was like, you know, these like a lot of Indian kids and shit. I remember like a burn on me in 8th grade was like, you're gonna go to community college, and everyone fucking thought it was the funniest thing.
Really?
Yeah, because they're all like, yeah, I'm going in 8th grade, dude.
That's fucked up.
Right? They're like, you're going to. I went to community. It was cool. I liked community college. Fuck you guys. Like that shit was fun, and I saved money. Stupid. College is a scam. Anyway, yeah, but I remember, I was like the dumb kid in the smart class.
But when did you come down?
Right after community college. Hell yeah. 2007. I came here. I went to school here. So I still went to college, and that's how I know it's a scam. I went to Cal State LA, and that's why I showed up in Alhambra, where China meets Mexico. You know what I mean? That's where they built the wall. Fucking
that's where the split is.
Yeah, that's where the split is right there, dude. That's like the border of China and Mexico, like Alhambra, El Monte, all that area. Which is funny because like there's a town Merced, and there's a lot of they're Hmong, but there's a lot of like a lot of Mexicans and like a lot of Asians. And I was like, dude, I traveled like 300 miles just to go like 10 miles down the road. I was like, this is stupid.
You ended up in the same
I was like, oh, I know this.
Town.
I know this mix.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, this is
that's funny.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what the fuck? I traveled all this way, and I was like, it smells the same and shit. It's like the same smells in the air. I'm like, bro.
In a sense, you kind of like found your people.
Yeah, I was like, this is familiar. Yeah, it was familiar enough. It was a good starting place. I liked it.
So was there an adjustment for you, or you had to adjust to certain things?
Yeah,
of, like
big
city.
My dumb ass came out here without a car because I was like, yo, man, here's the thing. You go to LA, everybody's in traffic. Why is everyone in traffic? Because they're driving a car. I'm like, if I don't drive a car, then I won't be in traffic. I'll get a bike and I'll just right through traffic. Duh. Right? That's what I thought.
But LA's big as fuck.
LA's huge. And, I'm coming from somewhere where it's flat. Like it's hilly. Mm-hmm. It's not just like, so you look on a map and you're like, oh, that's not that far. That's like a mile. And then you realize it's all fucking uphill. Yeah. And you're like, oh, this is death. I'm going to die.
I know all about them bullshit hills.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, there's some hills in LA like where if I don't have my little motor and shit, I'm like, I'm good, bro.
Hills are...
I'm good. Hey, shout out to the dude that invented elevators and shit, dude. Bro. Like, I'm good off that shit. Bro.
Elevation's your enemy, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Your natural enemy is fucking ramps.
Hell yeah. Ramps and stages.
Ramps
bro.
and degree hills and I didn't even think about that. That's funny.
Yeah, bro. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Like, unless I just take my car. That's why I take my car. Like you know how we'll go to eating spots.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, nah, bro. I'm taking
but that was
my
flat.
car,
I was like, it's flat. You're like, nah. There's like baby hills you don't know about. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Some parts of LA is bullshit, bro.
Oh yeah.
It's like fucking.
Oh, LA's so like, dude. People came here and just started building shit. They didn't talk to each other. They didn't like, hey, you want no, just like fucking build. and they just started making, and it's just shit got collided and
Yeah, shit's everywhere.
shit's everywhere. And then Beverly Hills was like, we don't want fucking, we're gonna put speed bumps everywhere. We don't want you guys coming through our fucking area,
bro. They fucking like, bro.
Yeah, that's it. It's everyone's just like, what the fuck, this is mine. No, fuck you guys. You know, it's like, it's so bad. Like, yeah, streets don't connect, and there's no real grid.
There's like different like street sizes too. Like there's certain neighborhoods where the streets are hella small, bro. Like
Yeah,
you have to like pull out to the side when a car's coming and shit. It's weird.
Totally. Like,
and in Beverly Hills, the streets are big as fuck, bro.
yeah, no one's parking on the street. They all have their own driveways and everything. So you're like, oh, this is nice. But then they put like it's open. You're like, there's nobody on the road. There's no kids playing because none of those kids play outside, and fucking and they put speed bumps through it. So they don't want you going through it, because that would have been a shortcut. It would have made life easier for everyone. But they're like, nah, fuck that. We don't want you guys coming through our neighborhood.
Not in my hood.
Yeah, dude. Speeded bump. You're like, you guys are fucking assholes.
So you just you just came down for college, like
that was the thing. I was like, I'm gonna go. I always came thinking, I want to do comedy, but like I technically started so I had to drive 2 hours away to Pleasanton, which was like the outskirts of the Bay, and that's where I technically started. But I just went on stage like 2 times, didn't really say much. I think it was like my jokes were like fart poop, you know what I mean? That was like my first, like, it was so bad, like I couldn't even formulate a sentence, and I made like one old black lady like kind of she chuckled like that. And I was like, I'm ready for LA. Let's go. And so that was it. That's all I needed. I just needed that little bit. And then, And then I told my parents, I'm like, I'm going to school. So it wasn't just like I'm going to do comedy. Yeah. But I came that was always the goal. And I did it for a little bit, but school took over because I was paying my way through college. So I started working in LA. Yeah. I finally got a car and started working in LA. And that's when I started really, I don't really count those years because I didn't really do stand-up. I didn't really do stand-up till once I graduated, which was 2011 I pretty much started.
When did you get interested in comedy? Like, when did you find comedy or stand-up?
I was an only child for 16 years. See, I'm weird, dude. So I was an only child for 16 years. Then my mom and dad were like, the factory's back online, you have 2 brothers. I was like, what? What? I thought I destroyed that shit, you know? But yeah, then I had 2 brothers, but I was an only child. So I was that kid that would just watch TV and mimic everything. Yeah. So anything I saw, I would start doing that. Yeah. And so I would just I think I was Jim Carrey was the first person I saw that I was like, that, whatever that is, that's amazing. And that's it brought so much joy. And I was like, whatever this is, I don't know. I didn't really know what it was. I just knew that he was funny. Yeah. And I liked it, and I was like, I want to be like that, and and that's everybody, right? Everybody was
it was through movies, you were
initially
the movies that he was
initially it was movies, because that was the thing. It was I like that. Yeah. I like laughing, and I like making people laugh. That was the thing. I was like, I like laughing, and then figuring out that I can make people when people come to the house. I'd be excited, and I'd be dancing, and I'd be twerking as a 6-year-old boy, because I just thought that was funny. So I'd just be twerking, and then they would laugh, and I was like, oh, that whatever that is, I like that. Yeah. So that's how it started, the beginning of it, and then seeing it on TV. Anything comedic, I looked out for. Yeah. And then seeing stand up, seeing Def Jam, and then Comedy Central, all the Comedy Central Presents and Premium Blend. Anytime it was stand up, and then that became, as I got older, that became the thing. Yeah. I was like, this is dope, because this is just one dude up there, controlling a crowd, making a whole audience laugh. I thought that was the coolest thing. And then growing up with shit talking Mexicans, I was getting on that bus and that 2-hour drive, and then dealing with hey, you're fucking retarded, fool. Dealing with that shit every day. This fool got a fucking hey, you got cum in your eye, fool. If you got crusties in your eye, just mean. Yeah, just fucking all day, fucking cum eye over here, and you had to deal with that shit every day, and I was just I gotta figure out how to deal, especially middle school. It's I gotta figure out how to deal with this. Yeah. Because I can't fight everybody, right? And I was a small kid, you know what I mean? So I'm still a small dude, but I was like, okay, I can't fight them. I can't physically fight everybody. That's not gonna work. So then I was once I figured out kind of like how to because that's what like it was like stand up. I was watching a lot of stand up and I was getting made fun of a lot at school, and I combined them, and I was like I'm gonna take what I learned from stand up and I'm gonna use that, and I started talking shit back, and that's what kind of then I realized being funny is like a superpower a little bit.
Yeah,
it was like a it's a defense mechanism is what it is, and for me, it became my shield. You know what I mean? That became I was like, I can. And then it was cool because then like people liked you because you make them laugh.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, this is like I could use this for all kinds of things. So yeah, that's where it really like started to click, and I was like, whatever this is, I like doing this.
But like you were into like performing, like you were down to like performing in front of people type.
No, I was kind of scared of, because that was the big thing with stand up. I think was like, it was like, damn, like you're just up there by yourself, like, performing for people. Yeah, that was like I was more like I learned how to be funny with people individually and then in conversation, and then you kind of get the boys, you get the group,
and just when you're capping on each
other, right? You get in those circles, talking shit on the bus, and that became a little audience in a way. But I was comfortable there, but then like to be like, okay, now the pressure is just on you, and that's a different experience. That's like,
I think that's why I got into like stand up so late, because I never was like into performing. Like I never wanted to be in front of a stage or even just to like talk in front of people. But I always was like in my family, when like my family was around, I was the one that was always entertaining and like telling stories and like all that shit.
Right.
So like I was naturally an entertainer, but I just I wasn't like, hey dog, I want to tell everybody,
Right,
I'm good, bro. Like
right.
the thought of like getting on a stage was hella like,
yeah,
I'm good, bro.
Yeah, it was scary. It's like it's because it's different. It's a level up, right? Because you're like, I'm good at this thing, but I don't know if I'm that. You know what I mean? That's the high. It's one of, you can throw a ball around, but can you pitch? Can you pitch in the major leagues? That's what it feels like.
Like when it matters, like when you actually have to, like,
you have to be
on point.
You have to be on point.
That's
Like same. I was just like around the barbecue, making like fun of my dad, or like the way my grandpa would sip coffee or something.
So what was the switch? Like what was the thing that you were like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try it? Like when
it's gay, a girl broke my heart. That was
I'm gonna get hella funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna get hella funny. You watch. It's so dumb, but
get famous and
yeah, like I got my heart broken, and I was just like, it's so gay. It's so gay. Oh shit,
that's funny, man.
Yeah, dude. Like I just straight up, I was just because I was sad. I was like, man, what the fuck? Like, my whole world was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, because I didn't know what I didn't know what you get your heart broken for the first time. You're like, what the fuck? I didn't know that this could happen. This is what? This is stupid. Like this is painful. What? This doesn't make any sense. Like I'd rather go eat shit on a skateboard and break my arm or something. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather go break some bones. Like fuck, this sucks. Because it's like a blanket on it. It's like, ugh. And then I think I was just kind of like, I was like, fuck it, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be anything here, this small town. Like now I appreciate the fuck out of it. Like when I go back, I love it. Like I'm like, man, this place is great. And people are like, what's LA like? I'm like, it fucking sucks. Don't go there. Visit, it's nice, but don't live there. That's how, you're from here, it's different. But like if you're from there, I'm like, it's a whole other thing, and it's just like if you're used to that, it's a whole crazy adjustment. And it's like, what the hell is it? Oh yeah. So the girl broke my heart, and and then I was like, I was working at Pep Boys, and I remember I would just like, the only thing that would cheer me up is like fucking around with the customers. You know what I mean? Making people laugh and stuff. And I was like, that's that thing. Like, you start soul searching. Like, what do you want to do? Yeah. Like, what do you want to do? And like, when you're like 17, 18, you're like, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know. So, I was just like, and then it finally clicked. It was like, dude, you like to be funny. Go be funny. Yeah. Go do funny shit.
So you were just like, I'm gonna find a mic.
Yeah. And that was like, it was just like I was like, what am I looking at all the time? It's like, you know, at that point, what are you doing? Jacking off, playing video games, and then watching comedy. That's all I was doing. I was like, all right, 2 of those are whack. I'm like, this at least has some legs. And I care about it. And so, and that's like all I paid attention to, really, you know, when I really thought about it. Because I already had a notebook that I carried around me when I started my freshman year, I believe. I had a Spider-Man little notebook. And I didn't put like jokes in there, but I put like it was like jokes, ideas. It was bits. Now when I look back, it was like, impression of Sean Connery. Like I would write stuff down, like, oh, you could do this, or like it was just like it was kind of gay. It was like a diary, but really, like most of it was doing things to impress or entertain people. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's cool though. Like you know, you found it kind of like early.
I kind of early, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like you're doing something, but you don't really know what you're doing, and then until you kind of put a name on it, and then you know, like that leveling up part, because you're like, I'm comfortable here, but then you're like, what? You know, I guess like you're an artist, right? So someone like who draws for themselves, like they might have but then it's like, hey, would you put that? And they're like, no, I don't want to sell it. I don't wanna, like, they're like, that's. Nah,
I do. Take all of these bitches. All of them. They're all for sale.
Get these titties are great, by the way. You know, you got to get these titties are awesome. He's got titties all over his house. And it's not titties, it's art. It's art. So you can have titties and then just say no, it's art.
Or customs, commissions,
or custom titties.
We out here.
Titties. There's an ass hidden over there. But we ain't about the ass today. We about these titties.
The titties are more like aesthetically pleasing on the meaning, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I guess I was gonna say women have titties and men don't, but I don't know. A lot of dudes have titties now.
You have titties. I've seen some
because I've heard that argument. Are you more of like an ass man or a tit man or whatever? And I've heard guys say, like, I'm a tit man because men don't have titties. Guys have asses. All the guys have asses. Like, all right, that's stupid logic, but whatever. Yeah. All right. Gay.
Oh, we can't say that no more, dog.
No, you can't say it. You're abandoned over here.
Like, so, and like your family was cool. They were like, hell yeah, be a comedian.
Hell no. My mom, she's Latina, sweet, kind, caring, motherly, nurturing. So anything I do, she's like, yay, do it, you know? Yeah. And then my dad's like, you're fucking stupid. What are you talking about? My dad, the Indian logical mind, like, what the fuck? No, they're not going to make any money doing that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, go get a degree, get a job. So I got the degree just to kind of like please them. And then once I got the degree, I never used it like most people. And then went into comedy, you know, you know, because I was just like, you know, and again, you don't know. That's the thing. You're trying things young and you don't know. So I'm jealous of people who got it like figured out young. They're like, this is what I want to do. And I'm just beeline. And that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. But most people aren't that way. Most people are like, oh,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you fucking. Well, because you tried different shit.
That's
what I had.
You have to.
That's what happened to me. I was like, I'm down to do this. Like, I'm the type of person that I'm not afraid to like start shit and try shit. Right. But I'm just really bad at staying consistent with shit. But when I find something that I really, really like, I'm like, all right, I'm down to give this my time. You know?
Yeah, that's cool. Because you're kind of like a jack of all trades in that way, right? Yeah. You can kind of like, because I'm not that way. Like, I'm only skilled in a few areas, and that's it. Everything else, I'm like, oh man, I suck. You know, because I don't. Yeah, if you're one of those people, and I know people like that, and they're similar to you. It's like they'll get really good at this thing, and then just be like, and then on to the next thing. That's
how I am.
But they can, you know, what's crazy? They can always come back and be like, I'll do that again, and then like they'll have real skill, and I'm like, that's fucking cool. Yeah, because it's just like you're more well-rounded as a person. I think that's dope. More so than, you know, me. I'm like, fuck, dude. Without comedy, I ain't got much, man. I could fight maybe, but I think I'd make it to the UFC and immediately lose. I think I'd be that guy. Like, I'd make it through the amateurs and then get my debut. And I'd just get smoked. I'd be someone else's highlight reel. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like one of those things where it's like you're competing against some guys that have been doing it young, like started hella young.
Of course,
you can't kind of beat that. You know, you.
Oh, that's in anything. Yeah, there's always. That's
what I was saying. Like, it's dope that you kind of found like and got into stand up kind of young. You know. Yeah. Like, I'm like started 36. I feel behind. You know. I'm like, God damn, I need to.
But I think that's better too, because like really when you're young and you're going through stand up, Like really, I'd probably say the last like 5 years, that's where like my stand up kind of grew a lot. Where it was like, oh, I've gotten like very comfortable doing a lot of things, and like there's not much in stand up that I haven't seen. Not to say that like I'm fucking like I know everything, but I'm at a point where like nothing really phases me, you know, anymore. Like I've been on stage enough, I've done enough hours of it, and like seen enough things and gone through enough things, and I'm like, okay, yeah, cool.
It's funny you say that because I'm still so new that
Yeah.
I'm still experiencing things where I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like the other night I had the show at the Improv,
Mhm.
and it like went really good, but it was like so good that like the laughter was throwing me off. Like people were carrying the laughter,
Yeah.
and then I was like, and then I was trying to. It was 5 minutes, so I was trying to get as much as I could in.
Right.
But like them laughing, I'm like, like I was like, all right, can I tell the joke now?
Can
like,
I say the next thing?
Yeah. Like, I was so focused on
Yeah.
like, and it was literally throwing me off.
Yeah, it's throwing you off.
And I was like, and it's happened to me a few other times.
Yeah.
Like at the first time I did a show at the Comedy Chateau in the smaller room,
Mhm.
it has like that circular thing when you're on your stage.
yeah.
So it like I was
That's
like,
a good room.
the laugh, it's weird. Like it
Stays
like
in there.
echoes or something. Yeah. And I
no,
was like, what the
that's a
fuck?
good room.
Yeah.
Because you do so many shit rooms, and you do open mics, and you do open mics with like just comedians watching you. That's like doing magic for magicians. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like, oh, they're not gonna be like, wow. They're like, I know how you did that. Like, shut up. So when you go in front of a real audience and they're appreciative, and you're funny, so you're funny and it resonates. You're like, whoa, you don't you're like, huh? You're like, oh shit, okay. Like, hey, that's not even the funny part yet.
Yeah,
you're not like,
what the fuck? What?
You're like, why are you guys laughing
Was
at
that funny?
the setup? This is, man, you guys are dumb. You're like mad at the audience because you're doing too good.
You're like,
Man,
what?
you're fucking it up.
Yeah. Like, well, when I have those moments, that's when I realize, like, hell yeah, I'm hella new at this, bro. Like I'm still like learning and adjusting. To shit.
Yeah, it's like riding a wave. It's different. You learn how to adjust, how to be calm, because you're gonna have hecklers. And even I'll still have things that happen to me that I'm like, I know how to handle that, but I didn't handle it the right way or whatever. Like there was like a drunk heckler the other night, and I was like, there's a way to make this way funnier, but I just didn't do it. So it's always, that's the cool thing about it, is that it's never a guarantee. It's like never a guarantee you're gonna go on stage and just kill and murder and everything's gonna be great. It's like, you could always bomb, you could always do not well. Yeah. And so that's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
you know?
I think we've all had those moments where you're like, after you went up and you're like, fuck, I should have kept doing this, or I should have said this instead of that. Yeah. Yeah.
There's always that. That's every comic too. Even when you do well. Like me, I've never said I had a perfect set. Right? Like some I've asked comics that. That's like one of my favorite questions to ask comics. Have you ever had a perfect set? Yeah. You know, like everything just went perfectly. And like some comics are like, yeah. Some comics are like, no. But it seems like I don't believe the ones that say yeah. Because in my mind, and maybe I don't know, it's just how I think, but in my mind, I'm always like, like that was a good, like I've had great sets where I'm like, I forgot this part and I didn't add that, and I could have stretched this out a little longer, and they dipped there and then it pinned. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I started looking at it, I was like, that wasn't,
I mean, what would you consider a perfect set?
A perfect set is like you couldn't have done better than that. Whereas almost every time I get off stage, I'm like, I could have done better. I'm like, I missed that. That's just how I am. But that's what keeps me like trying to be better. Yeah. So like, I think maybe a mental thing. I don't want to have a perfect set, because if I do, then I'm like, I'm done. I made it. Whatever.
And then you're like, you have one, and then you weren't like recording or something.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, that was the one.
That was the one.
That was the one. I fucking missed that shit.
Like, fuck. Never gonna happen again. Like fucking catching.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have nowhere near enough experience to know where the fuck I'm at. Like in those moments.
Well, you have sets where you kill.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I've had those like where and when it's anytime. I think the fun part is anytime something surprises you. You do well and it surprises you. Yeah. Or something that you're like, oh, like you come up with in the moment and that pops. You're like, whoa. So like that's what's cool about it, is like any sort of progress that you make is like, oh, that was cool. Yeah. So you're like, yeah. But then like, I don't know. I've like learned to look at my set really objectively, Probably probably because all those Mexican shit talkers I grew up with, man. I never let my guard down.
You're ready.
I'm ready, dude.
Like, hey, dog, come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
I got counters for you.
That's like a aspect of being that makes you good. Like, you know, when you're able to just get something that comes in and just,
Yeah.
you know, just flip it on them or say something funny about it. Like,
yeah, you know, and then you know what's cool is like because you come to LA. The good thing about LA is, I mean, you have the best comics in the world here. That's the thing. And even if they're not, if they're in New York, they still come through LA. Yeah. So you get to see like the best of the best. You get to see the creme de la creme. So, it helps sharpen you, and you can't have an ego because as good as you are, you'll see somebody else who's better. You're like, whoa, you know, you're like you'll kill, and then you see someone else who kills, and you're like, what? You're like, damn. You know, and it's different. You know, see a guy, you like, I did good, and one girl came up to me and she gave me her number, and you see another dude kill, and like 10 girls came up to him, and they're like, he's leaving with all of them. I'm like, fuck, damn.
Nah,
you can kill that hard? Fuck.
Like at the big clubs and shit.
Yeah, at the big clubs, or sometimes it could be a small room. It doesn't.
100% sure I haven't had a perfect set.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this yesterday actually with one of the guys. He had just started, and then we were kind of talking about our experiences. And like for me, I've got into a point where you're kind of like you get into like a zone where like people are laughing, and then you know, like it's almost like you know anything you say, people are gonna laugh at. Yeah. Like you get in. That's happened to me before, where I'm like, all right, I got you. Yeah. I got y'all. Like anything that's coming out after this, you're gonna laugh at.
Yeah. Sometimes, see, that's what I mean. So I know about that because like, you know, when I was younger and I was like, I'm killing, and then I go, you know what? Pretty much anybody who's decent would have done well. That's how I think. I was like, oh, that because the crowd. Sometimes you walk in and it is partly the crowd. Like I don't want to put it all in the crowd because it is the comic. But sometimes you walk in a room and the crowd is warm. Yeah. And sometimes you walk in a room and the crowd is hot. You know, sometimes you just go and everything you say is money, money, money. Yeah, so it's just like, we're just flowing at that point. Yeah. And so sometimes I go, that's not me. Like I go, that's not me. Yeah. That's like a girl who's like playing with herself all day and shit, and then you show up, and you're like, "Damn, this is West for me. Hell yeah, that was all me.
I got you. That's all me.
That was me."
Nah, but we're cocky like that. Yeah, bro. Guys are like, it was all me.
It was all me.
Like, yeah.
It's like, nah, she's just horny, dude. Yeah. She's like, nah, dude, that was me. Bro.
She just brought you in to finish the job, bro. Like that shit was already. The motor was running.
The motor is running, dude.
You know, she just brought you into fucking.
The oil's already hot, dude. You just
you just threw the meat on.
Threw the
bro.
meat on there.
Threw the meat on.
Threw that meat on the carne asada.
Oh, that shit is funny. What do you consider like one of your big highlights of like doing this shit like in the game, like whether it be like a dope ass say you had or you met somebody or you killed after somebody that
I think like the first time I headlined and killed, that was pretty cool, man. And again, I guess this just kind of keeps me hungry, but like I try not to like even when things are good, I try not to be like, yo, that was the best thing ever. Like there's like there are highlights for sure. Like realizing you're going like I remember like I did Canada like doing and and that room was like it fit 500 I want to say maybe a little less, maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe 400 300 400, but it was like in a basement. It was perfect. It was in a basement and it was packed and I just fucking smashed. You know what I mean? And it was just cool and it's just like rah. And at that point I had been grinding, you know, out in LA. So then it was seeing like a real crowd react and like a different crowd, like a Canadian crowd, and me doing my stuff and my material and then mixing things up, and I was just in it. I was just slaughtering. I was just killing it. And everybody was like, "Whoa, man, where'd you come from?" You know, all the Canadian, wow. You know?
Yeah, that's a dope feeling.
Like, so I just remember that feeling was always like, whoa. And like so going somewhere that I'd never been before and doing well, those were always like highlights. Going on the road. The first time, you know, you headline, the first gig you headline. That's kind of cool. You're like, oh, I'm a headliner now. Yeah. You know, I think because like featuring and then doing really well at featuring, and then people go, whoa, like, hey, we want to have you back, you know, and come headline next time. So that was always fun. I remember the first time I got paid for a gig. That was a little highlight. Like it was out here somewhere. Where the hell was it? It was like in I want to say like Torrance or like Torrance adjacent near the beach.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you know Ada Rodriguez. She's a comic.
Where does
She got like an HBO special recently, and yeah, you might have seen her face, but she was the headliner, and Byron Bowers was the feature, and my buddy got it, and he had me like open, and I remember they paid me $50, and it was a house party. It was like a Mexican house party, so there's like fucking jump house in the back and shit, and it was funny because like the area was hood. It was like all broke down, beat up houses, and then then the house that the party was, it was all remodeled, redone. It looked like a little castle, and I was like, dude, this is cartel money or some shit, bro. Like we walked in there because it was like, yeah, and I feel like it was either it might have been a quince or like she was like 14 or something. It was like for the girl.
That's probably a quince.
Yeah,
I don't think they celebrate 14.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
There's not. It's just a normal birthday at 14.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
15
These people,
and 16 now are like
yeah, 15 is the big one. But it didn't feel like a quince. It felt like a house. It was like a house party, or maybe it happened. I don't know. But for whatever reason, they're like, yeah, we want to have comics in our house, in our living room, doing comedy. And I was like, okay. And I remember doing that, and I did okay. It wasn't like great. I was like, oh, this is because it was weird. Yeah, like, I'm doing comedy.
It sounds like it would be weird.
It
like
is
if you're just at a random like house party.
It was a random house party, but you know, they were cool people,
Yeah.
you know. And I remember I did okay. I didn't do bad, but I was like, oh, that was like I didn't like, you know, I had done a couple clubs, so I'm like, this is how you kill, da da da.
Yeah.
And you do that, but I remember they paid me like $50, and I was like, whoa. That was like, that's a big deal.
My first shit is I drove to the Pasadena
I saw
THC.
okay,
the Pasadena, the Hollywood Comedy, and then there's like the Pasadena or it used to be. They closed that shit already.
The
Pasadena. I drove out there
Comedy.
and they gave me $10 for gas, bro.
$10 for gas.
That was like I got a $10 bill, and I was like, oh shit,
Mama, I made it.
Yeah. Aside from winning the competition.
Oh yeah.
But that's not, you know, it's not like
yeah.
They didn't pay me for the gig, you know, because I could have lost that shit, you know. So
competition win feels good. That's a good one.
Yeah, for me it was more like I just wanted to be able to say that, you know, that I won a competition.
Yeah.
You know?
It helps. I'm just like, I won a competition.
I won a competition.
Who'd you beat?
I beat
Doesn't
30
matter.
people.
I won a competition.
I literally was one of those fucking bullshit competitions, you know. Literally, I had to beat 30 people.
Nobody. But the point is, I won the competition.
Bunch of open micers. Huh?
Yeah.
I remember.
Bunch of guys trying comedy for the first time.
I mean, I have a little up because I could say it was legitimate because there was another dude in a chair.
There was another dude in a chair.
So I lost my chair advantage.
Chair battle.
Yeah, bro. So I was like, hey, it wasn't because I was in my chair, bro.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't blame the chair on that one.
But yeah,
it's all about the man in the chair.
One of the ladies that was in it, she was like, oh well, y'all should have let me know the chair was gonna be in this motherfucker. Like, I was like, that's fucked up, but bitch, I was funny. What the fuck you mean?
Yeah, she's like, the chair.
Yeah.
Blame. That's fucked
Next
up.
time, let me know if there's gonna be chairs in the car.
Hey, dude.
I was like, that's fucked
you're
up.
like you're a cheater for real, because like, like you come in with a chair.
You can't be bringing in props.
Yeah, this dude brought his own props. This is bullshit, dude. You get the sympathy.
I don't even deny that. Like my chair is like a cheat code, bro. It's like,
oh yeah.
I think what it is that for one, people don't usually get my perspective on things.
Right.
So it's like you're here, and then the other thing is like people, as soon as like I go up there with my chair, they're like, I want to see what's up with this chair dude got to say. So they give me their attention.
My bad, it's 6.
There's shit to be done.
I gotta go. I would fucking sit here and talk for another 3 hours, but I fucking gotta go because we just started getting into it. Damn it.
For real. Part 2. Part 2.
Yeah, part 2 coming soon. Sequel, bro. Just whet their appetite. This is just the beginning.
All right. Well, just to get off, like I ask comics when they come in, like when you started out, what's some advice, like if for people that are like trying to get in it, like what's something that you would have liked to hear at the beginning of when you got into stand up, you know, like some advice that you would have liked to be like, all right, that shit was helpful, bro.
There's a lot, but the basic advice is always get on stage as much as possible. Pay attention, listen to everybody, you know. Doesn't necessarily everybody. Like first of all, listen to yourself, and then be open to listening to other people. Don't just accept their advice as okay, that's scripture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just listen and assess whether that makes sense or not to you. because everyone's different. Yeah, man. For me personally, like starting out, it's a grind. I think that's what they should have said is like, hey man, you gotta be ready. There's gonna be a lot of ups and downs, a lot of highs and lows, and you have to be ready for that. And you have to be tough. You have to be resilient, very resilient, mentally more than anything. I think that's probably the biggest thing is like figure out if you love it. I would say if you love it, then do it. If you kind of like it, get the fuck out of here, right? Like, because you're just gonna be in the way, and you're never gonna get to that point. And that's for anything. Like if you kind of like it, then you'll kind of be okay at it.
Yeah.
But like if you're trying to, because there's people that are trying to be great, and so you got to think like you kind of have to, like, even though I say try not to get an ego, you kind of have to come in with a mentality of maybe I'm not the shit now, but I will be.
Yeah.
That I'm
For sure.
I'm great. I know I'm great. I'm not great now. I know I got this mountain in front of me, but I'm gonna climb it no matter what.
Sure.
And if you have that mentality, then you're great. You're already halfway there.
For sure.
That's
And
the biggest
where can people find your stuff? Like, where's the name?
My Instagram at Shaman Johal.
For sure. That'll be on the screen.
That'll be on the screen. Sweet. That'd be cool.
Thanks for coming through.
See me at Fiji Water and Champion. I'll be the new spokesperson.
Don't let me hang it.
Oh, my bad. I missed the fucking
Nah,
thing.
nah,
I was
you
looking at
good.
your giant fucking keg of Fireball.
Oh yeah, alcoholics.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it.
Next week's sponsor.
Catch you on the next one. We out.
We out.
Pacing in my studio, just coming up with dapper bars to spit in crucial situations when I play the rapper's part. Heard I got a denim heart and lyricism in my jeans. Cut a track down, leave it bald head like Mr. Clean. Spit it mean, a record fiend. I school you niggas, call me Dean. I'm always beach, just never seen. Stay on the chase for minty green. It's local how these niggas say they ballin', but they broke though.